Yes.
What kind of work did she do?
We were building a shelter for the German Wehrmacht, for the German
The
army,
regular army.
in a mountain.
And so it's like an underground type of thing. That's a lot of
Yes.
work. That was hard work.
Well, I didn't do it there because somehow I was lucky there that one of the managers, who happened to have been a Czech, I remember, sort of took a liking to me, and he took me into his office, and he sat me down, and he had two crates, like two milk baskets. One of them was bolts and one was nuts. And he said I should put all the bolts on the nuts. This took me, I don't know, a couple of days. And when I was finished, I reported to him that I'm finished. He says, now take them off. And he even shared his sandwich sometimes with me.
This was a Czech?
He was a Czech guy, yeah.
Was he a prisoner or was he a capo? What was
No,
his
he
position?
wasn't. I don't know exactly what his, but he was considered the manager of the.
So he was
job,
he was in charge of the prisoners.
The operations there, yes.
And Czechoslovakia got him got.
I don't know how he
of,
got involved, but.
Right. So they were invaded, took over in 1939. So he worked at that camp, and he basically was doing you a favor.
He was doing me a favor, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So do you think he was a decent guy to other people, or was he just decent to you?
I think he was pretty decent.
He was a decent fellow. And I'm going to assume that he may have been a little older, because the younger ones...
Yes, he was, I'd say, middle-aged.
No, and that's why they have more of a heart than the younger ones. Right. So when you were there for a year, and besides the job that you just described, what did you do the rest of the time? Do you have other kids to play with? Did you speak to your siblings? What did you do for 1 year? That's a long time.
Well, as I said, during the day we worked. We were out of the barracks.
Did you work on that job the whole time?
Pretty much.
And how hard was it? I know it sounds silly because it saved your life, but doing this all day long must have drove you up a wall.
Yes, well, as I say many times, I didn't really have what to do, so I was just roaming around. He treated me very well, as I said.
So let's say he didn't supplement the extra food. How bad or how good were the rations as far as trying to survive the camp?
But the rations were relatively well.
They were well.
Food,
Do you remember what you ate?
Food?
What did you eat for breakfast and lunch? Do you remember that? I assume it was soup?
No, I don't remember. I remember the lunches were like, the main meal was soup, and we had bread. We didn't hunger there.
Right.
We did not hunger.
Did you have anything to do with the French prisoners? Did you speak to them?
No contact whatsoever.
And how many people were in your camp, you would say, a ballpark?
I'd say approximately between 80 and 100.
And who was the main force that guarded you? Was it SS Ukrainians? Was it
SS.
SS. Was it Ukrainian? Austrian SS?
Austrian local guard. Yeah.
Local guard. It wasn't Russians or Ukrainians.
No.
Okay. And what did they speak? What did you speak?
German.
German in the camp,
Yeah.
right? Okay. So you were there from 1944
till 45.
45. You remember how when your mother was working, was it very difficult for her? What did she say?
I tell you, I don't remember discussing this particular incident with them.
Did you?
She worked, and my brothers worked, and my sister. They were older than me, so they were all together. I don't know how hard the work was. I don't think it was that difficult. I mean,
knowing what you know now, it must have been very difficult for your mother to be in a situation like that without a husband and 3 little kids.
Yeah, it was very difficult, but all the others were in the similar situation.
I understand. Okay. So after this camp, where did you go?
When the Russians were coming from Hungary towards
east.
Austria,
from the east, yeah.
Then we were vacated from Stockerau, this camp, and we started walking for a number of days. I don't remember exactly how many. Towards Mauthausen. I don't know if you ever heard that name.
My father was in Mauthausen.
Yeah, this was already a Vernichtungslager. There things were very, very difficult already.
So, do you remember the month or the day that you arrived in Mauthausen?
Then we were liberated, let's say, in May. It must have been somewhere in March.
Were you liberated in Mauthausen or Ebenswey?
No, I was liberated in Gunskirchen,
Goldskirchen. Were you liberated May 6th?
May 5th.
May 5th. Was that General Clark's army, the U.S. Army?
That I don't know. I know it was the American.
That's General Clark. So that was where my father was liberated May 6th from Ebenswey. So what time, do you remember one more time, the day that you arrived at Mauthausen? Does that ring a bell? Ballpark.
The ballpark, it has to be in also around April.
April 1945.
45, right?
Okay, so you would think that you walked about 2 days from Austria
Yes.
to Mauthausen?
Yes.
Your mother and your siblings were with you?
Yes.
Okay, did you have food on the way?
Very difficult. No.
Water?
Very little, very little. I know people.
Were you like running and rushing?
No, but we were walking, but if somebody went out of the line to pick up some grass or something,
They were shot.
it was shot.
And did you rest that night?
Did we rest at night? Yes, but in the outdoors.
Were a lot of other camps met up with you? Because a lot of people were
I don't
leaving?
know how many. There were quite a few, yes. I know that in the morning when we woke up, there was a whole heap of dead bodies during the night that they were trying to escape or what, but that they were shot
Did you arrive at Mauthausen during the day or at night?
during the day.
Okay. What was the first thing you remember going into Mauthausen?
The first thing I remember in Mauthausen, it's actually the first time that I was really exposed to the
Camp. A real camp.
the real camp. I saw people who
The
were
horrors.
skinny, the horror with the I don't even know if they had the uniforms. I mean, that was really, really tough. I remember my brother brought a couple of potatoes with us that time, and there was making a little fire there and tried to cook it for the kids.
This was the
Sure
first-
enough, it was stolen away.
The first night.
Yes,
Right. So I just want to reiterate and just emphasize, you were only 11 years old,
that's right.
correct? Okay. How old was your sister in the camp?
My sister was 2 years older, one, and
13.
one was 2 years younger than me.
So you're telling me that your brother was 9?
I didn't have I'm the youngest boy.
You're the youngest. So
My sister was 9.
the one who was in Mauthausen was 13. Is that what you're saying?
One was 9 and one was 13.
So you had a 9-year-old sibling with
Yes,
you
I had a younger sister. And
at 9 years old. What happened after the second day, after the first day, the second day of Mauthausen? You're giving a uniform. Tell me what happened.
What happened there, I really don't recall details. All I know is that after that, we started marching again. They took us from there further
So you went from Mauthausen to
to
somewhere else?
Gunskirchen.
So you went to Mauthausen basically for 1 day.
No, we were there a couple of days, 2 or 3
And
days.
you remember what you did for those 3 days?
I don't remember that, but I happen to remember one incident clearly. We were sleeping on the ground, and I remember during the night I was woken up because somebody put their hand on me. And I remember removing it, and then it bounced back. A couple of times in the morning I woke up, I saw it was a corpse.
And it was somebody.
This is something that I remember.
You're not going to forget
clearly.
that. Yeah. And you remember if it was somebody older
A
or
man, but I wouldn't know
You
the
don't
age or
remember.
anything
you
like that.
remember that? But that you clearly remember.
Yes.
Right. So you after Mauthausen, you had to march again. How long was the march?
I say also a couple of days.
And where did you end up?
Gunskirchen,
In Austria.
yes.
So did you hear of, or did you hear news, or did you hear any of the conflict getting closer to you? Airplanes, the Russian 88 mortars going off. Did you
Oh,
hear
I
any?
forgot to tell you one point
Please.
of interest in Stockerau before all this. During the day, since it was very close to Vienna, we had almost every day an alarm. Russian bombers came to Vienna.
You had an alarm, so you had to go
That
on
we
the
were allowed to